Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 152. Big Box Steve and the mic, Big Smooth, and Fresh Wes. We got our weekly movie review coming up and talking sports, which we'll get into first here. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate everybody listening. The more watch hours, the better. That's what we need. So jump into sports right away. And we got to talk NBA playoffs because that's obviously one of the biggest sports things happening right now. Well, we'll just start with the Knicks. We talked about this in earlier podcasts. What were the chances of the Knicks beating the Celtics? Because I think we all kind of had them here against the Celtics, right? When we talked about it before.
Yeah.
Wes, I remember you saying that the Knicks didn't have a chance to beat the Celtics.
I mean, that just shows you how much I invest in the NBA. I mean, honestly, it's not that much of a surprise just because the Celtics are just dealing with injuries. That they seem healthy coming into the playoffs. But Jalen Brunson's like my favorite player right now. I just love watching him play. He's just relentless. I mean, he's hurt. He's playing hurt. No.
There's a big difference between Jason Tatum and Jalen Brunson, right?
Yeah.
Brunson's played hurt a lot lately.
Well, if they make it to the next round against the Pacers, that's the reason the Pacers beat them the last time they played because Brunson got hurt and he was out. He gets beat up all the time in the lane.
But we don't. So let's not give to the Knicks yet. Still 3-2.
I know.
Going back to New York, what are the chances that New York closes them out here in game six in New York?
I hate to say this, prefacing I am a Knicks fan, but to be fair, what haven't the Celtics been up by 20 in almost every game?
There's a lot of comebacks by the Knicks.
Yeah. So the Knicks need to actually go and win this game. They need to not be down. They need to not. I mean, that's the thing is like they keep getting down by so much. This last game, they were down by 14 in the third quarter. It's like, dude, without Tatum.
Right.
So, yeah, the Knicks, I'm not saying it's a must win like some other, so-called people out there, say. Because the Knicks have beat them twice in Boston already. So you can't just say, oh, they can't win in Boston.
But you think about if they didn't make those comebacks, the series would already be over.
Yeah.
What do
If the
you think, Wes?
Celtics wouldn't shoot 80 something
Oh.
threes, the series would have went over.
Yeah. I mean,
Wes, who's your call in game six in New York, Knicks, Celtics?
I'm taking the Knicks,
Close it out?
Yeah. Yes. They should. And if they don't, they just lost game five, which was ridiculous. I was like, I just turned off the TV. I'm like, screw this. And so they should. Well, I mean, again, this isn't like 1995 here, These teams just like to shoot 3-pointers, run around. I think the key, I think Brunson needs Towns to really step up.
Right.
And Towns has got to Towns is going to have to take over at some point, I think, for them to, because Boston's just not going to roll over. Just because
No.
lost Tatum, they got
Tatum or not, they have tons of talent.
they got guys. They got a deep roster. Guys who Jalen Brown is not going anywhere. So I think they're going to do it because they're playing at home. I think the crowd's going to be energized. I think Towns has a big game. I hope
Yeah,
so.
I agree. Actually, I agree that New York closes it out, and I think Towns goes for 25 and 15 and wins the game. Boston, the only way they win this game is Peyton Pritchard has a big game. That's the only way they win because he has to make up a little bit for Tatum, but Jaylen Brown is going to be, he's going to probably score 22. Derek White will score in the 20 range. But if Peyton Pritchard doesn't hit 20 points, I don't think you can outscore the Knicks. Because you're going to get, 12 to 16 from both Bridges and OG, right?
Well, who knows? The Celtics might just come out and shoot every shot a 3-pointer, break the all-time record.
I'm surprised they haven't already. That's all they do.
Oh,
They
you
just
know what I
pop.
would do if I was commissioner?
We could talk about the commissioner later with the lottery.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's definitely a good topic. But what about Pacers, Cavs? It's obviously done, but was this not the biggest surprise of the playoffs?
Well, we'll find out after game 7 of OKC and Denver.
There's no way I had Cleveland losing at
Right.
this point.
But to be fair, like we talk about, okay, Boston without Tatum, but like Cleveland, Mitchell's been hurt, Garland's been hurt. I mean, they've had lots of injuries. They weren't at full strength.
I don't know. I just don't think you need to be at full strength as Cleveland to beat Indiana. So maybe Indiana played above their level, but I would never have picked Cleveland to lose this series.
Well,
I did. I did because I
Halliburton
made a bet on
is
it. And the only problem is I really do want New York to win, but I do have a bet going here. So I did pick Indiana to beat Cleveland.
this is actually good for me
Yeah.
because my Florida Gators won the national championship because Wes bet against them and on Houston. So now Wes is bet against the Knicks. So that's feeling good here.
I knew I should have said anything. Did I? I'm like, I should not have said a word because I look at the Pacers. Of course, I like Halliburton. They they're deep too. They got one of the best coaches in the NBA. I just don't think when it comes to like a guy you really go to when you need like a Brunson, they don't have really
Right.
that.
But what they do have more than the Knicks is they have a ton of depth because
Yeah.
when they come off the bench or even with their current players, like you're going to like Toppin and Nieberhard and TJ McConnell, you're not losing a lot when you go to these guys. Or Naismith who, goes back and forth. So yeah, they have their core, which is Siakam, Halliburton, and what's their power forward's
Miles
name?
Turner.
Turner, right. So that's their core, right? But they have a ton of talent on that team. They may not be as talented as the Knicks at the starter position, but I think they're way deeper.
Well, I would just say it's just I don't know if they're way deeper. It's just the way that oh gosh,
Oh, Thibodeau,
yeah, Thibodeau
yeah,
likes to run his team.
right. Because he plays them a lot of minutes, but that also is tough down the stretch as these series get longer and the playoffs go deeper.
I mean, because on the Knicks bench they have Lander Shamat, Precious Achiuwa, PJ Tucker, Cameron Payne. They're not scrubs on the bench. They just don't play them.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, they're not bad, but because they're in the NBA, but I still think overall,
Oh, I'm not saying taking Obi Toppin over Precious Ashawulo.
really,
Yeah,
look at
the Knicks got rid of Obi Toppin because Precious was better.
Topman had a pretty good season off the bench. I don't know. I kind of think Indiana has a chance,
I
but
think
we'll get into that. The Knicks have to win
well,
first, right?
Yes, the
well,
Knicks have to
yeah,
win.
we might be getting ahead of
We
us.
might be getting a little ahead of ourselves here with the
This is yeah. Let's predict. Yeah, Indiana really has a chance against the Knicks as long as the Knicks beat the
Make it.
Celtics,
Yes.
right.
which they should.
So, but I mean, Indiana's already in it, so at least they have that going for them. Let's jump over the West Conference for a second because man, so tonight the Thunder pull off a big win, now tie at 3-3
I mean, the
going
Nuggets,
to
the
game
Nuggets pulled off
seven.
a big win.
What's that?
Nuggets won.
You said the Thunder pulled off a big win.
Oh, no, the Nuggets, sorry.
Same thing.
So
I
now we're going 3-3 Nuggets Thunder. Obviously Minnesota already closed out, which against the, no Steph Curry Warriors team, like they really had a kind of an easy route.
Yeah. The no defense Lakers, and
Right,
then you got the no Curry
right.
Warriors. Well, thank Houston for that. Rockets choking.
So who wins game seven? What's your guys' pick here? Thunder, Nuggets.
you got I don't have a quarter on me right now. Yeah.
It's a coin flip. Is that what you're saying? I mean, the way they've played the series, it could be because they're up and down, back and forth the whole time.
Yeah, I know it's gonna sound odd, but I'm taking the Nuggets.
Nuggets.
You can't stop Jokic. Jamal Murray is healthier now.
He's playing a lot better. I mean, he's over 20 a game in the last, what, 3 games?
Yeah. You saw what Christian Braun did tonight. And Westbrook is still a weapon off the bench.
Um, yeah, I think I'm going to take the Nuggets too because McMurray, he wasn't even really supposed to play tonight, and he was out there. I mean, he gave him, played what 41 minutes. You know, Westbrook is playing better. He had a pretty bad stretch where he's like 3 for 26, but he's playing better. You know who played pretty good tonight was Strother.
Yeah.
He had some big shots. Yeah, I think OKC just looks a little discombobulated on offense. Shea has to do too much. Shea kind of hurt his shooting hand tonight. So I mean, I'm sure that's not going to be such a big deal, but it seems like that the Nuggets are getting their second win. Jokic is getting more help. I think he looks a little tired in the fourth. He's getting kind of to that point where it's like, okay, help me please. And tonight, everyone's hitting their threes. So um, I think it's going to be close. I'm just going to take the Nuggets because why not?
Why not?
I mean, am I personally invested in either team? No, I'm not. So I'm taking.
Yeah, I kind of gotta agree. I think I'm gonna go with the Nuggets too. Even though it's gonna kill my bet because I had OKC to win the championship like 5 months ago. Got a good odds on it. Yeah, I think Denver's probably gonna close them out here in Game 7. So
So
I
if
think we're
Oklahoma City wins by 25, you won't see us next week.
Honestly, though, the thing is OKC should win.
They're playing at home. You know, I mean,
Well, the problem is like they're relying on, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Lorenzo Dort. And they're so up and down right now.
Williams was like 3 for 16. Like,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
but he got,
6 points.
20 rebounds and assists, so he's doing other things, but you have to score.
No, their offense, they're struggling on offense.
Right. They're not
So
scoring like they normally do.
they're not really getting in transition, off, turnovers and, applying pressure. But we knew this was going to be a tough series. It's like I wasn't really, was kind of on the fence because it is kind of like how the Nuggets, how they help out Jokic.
Right. Should this be the Western Conference Championship?
No, no,
You
because
think Minnesota is better than these two teams?
well, right now Minnesota, I think is just because I mean it's not just Ant so much. It's like when Ant, if it's not Ant when he struggles at points, and especially um, in the first half, he's getting more support.
Well, Julius
They could
Randle's
play
killing it.
go. I mean, yeah, and he's shooting threes. I mean, their front line they could play big. They can go small. Um, I don't right now. I think they're becoming the team to beat right now. I'm not quite sure if they're heads above everybody else better. Um, but right now they did have an easier road because Steph was hurt. I mean, remember game one, Steph was just tearing up Minnesota and then he got hurt, so, but I'm just going to say because, just the way that they played the last couple of games. And I don't even think they've been playing. You've seen the best basketball from them.
For
I think,
Minnesota?
yeah, I think they could,
Yeah. The issue I have for Minnesota is that, they shoot a very low percentage from time to time, and that hurts you in a series.
yeah.
So let's say Minnesota doesn't matter OKC Denver comes out, who wins that game, that series? Can Minnesota beat both teams coming out of the other side?
I It's a toss up, really. It's those three teams are kind of all kind of equal to me. Because before, everyone before they fired Malone, Nuggets were what, still the 3 seed, right?
Right.
When that happened. And so it was like weird, but they're still a really good team and they have Jokic.
Yeah, I think I would say that if it's OKC in Minnesota, I would give the edge to Minnesota just because I think you can get you throw out more bodies when you start talking about okay, you Julius Randle's playing so good right now that your inside outside game. I think DiVincenzo's kind of struggled at points in the last series, but he's not going to struggle like that. He's going to start hitting his shots. Conley, um, and
Playing
then
really well, actually. Conley is.
yeah, and then you got Mitchell, and then Nas Reed, it's like, okay, we're gonna load up down the bog, we're gonna take away Julius Randle and then here comes Nas Reed. I mean, they have a lot more options. I think against Denver though, I think Jokic, of course, is the X factor, and he kind of makes Gobert look stupid, and it seems like that could psychologically play into the hands of. And if Murray's going to continue to play as well as he's playing, I'm going to give the edge to Denver.
So you think if it's Minnesota, OKC, Minnesota wins. If it's
Yeah,
Denver, okay, or or Denver wins.
yeah, but again, it's very even
So you're
across.
saying Steve lost his money.
Right. Like you just lost my bet, Wes.
Yeah. What bet?
Although I don't disagree right now because of the way each team's playing. I mean, I think that's pretty accurate. Like Gobert doesn't have the skill set to guard Jokic. OKC doesn't have the player talent to beat Minnesota right now. If OKC plays like they can, it's hard to beat them. The problem is they're so up and down. You don't know who on their bench is going to come up like Caruso or Joe. Like sometimes plays, sometimes does. It's like, what are you guys doing? This dude hits like six threes in a game, then he plays no minutes next game.
And we're talking about Caruso here. I mean, I know he's been a big factor off the bench, but I mean, you think you're Minnesota, you can find a way to just kind of X that component out. You're not, I'm not so much worried so much about Caruso as I'm worried about other bench players on the Nuggets at this point.
Or
Now,
or on even Minnesota, like Nico Walker Alexander, for example, like way better than Caruso, right?
yeah, yeah, and even though DiVincenzo plays in spurts, I mean he's not gonna play as badly as he did last series, probably most likely. Um, yeah, I just now the Nuggets bench hasn't been that great, and then all of a sudden tonight they just light it up. If they continue to play like that, then I think they cause Minnesota problems.
Yeah, Strother had a great game off the bench, but mostly it's because Christian Brown, had a huge game. So, all right, well, let's wrap up NBA here. Finals. What's your pick? Who's in the finals? Name the two teams. I'm gonna go with the Pacers and the Nuggets. What do you guys got?
I can't say because I don't want to jinx my team.
Just choose them then.
No, I can't do that.
No, you got to do it.
No, and I'll jinx them.
Derek, what are we doing?
I'm abstaining.
Uh,
What do you got, Wes?
I I got to go with Indiana too, and I'm taking Minnesota.
Minnesota, Indiana. All right, Derek, you got to choose one.
Minnesota and New York.
There you go.
There we go.
I think that's a good possibility. So
No,
we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
And then it will be the Carl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle.
Oh, the comeback, right?
Yeah.
Let's see whose trade was better.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll wrap up NBA there. We'll come right back with some NFL.